Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Mercedes G-Wagon. Yes, the G350d, and these are the keys of the car. And this is of course the Mercedes GLC 43 AMG 4MATIC Coupe. But today we are going to be talking about this car, which happens to be the G-Wagon diesel. It's full of character. It's not an AMG, so it obviously misses out on some AMG bits which are very striking on the 63. But this is the engine bay. It says 6-cylinder right there, and of course you've got insulation there too. But everything on this car is so boxy and against aerodynamics. What do I even tell you? For starters, the AMG grille is gone. You get the regular Mercedes 3-slat grille. You get a bold Mercedes logo, along with of course a front parking camera. The bumpers are also a little bit more subtle on this car, but this car still looks aggressive thanks to the matte black paint shade on this car, which looks very attractive indeed. The lights of course are all LED units. They are round, kind of retro-ish, but you get a headlight washer, and of course the traditional placement of the indicators on the top. Well, in order to engineer this, Mercedes had to spend a bomb. They're very expensive, but it says Mercedes-Benz right there. It has to stay true to the G-Wagon's design language, which is absolute madness in terms of road presence. And coming to the side, you can see that road presence because this car has so much road presence. It's absolutely insane. Now it looks like a box because it is a box, so there's nothing known as aerodynamics for this vehicle. However, it still drives pretty nicely, which we'll talk about later. Okay, you get these exposed fenders. Absolutely crazy. The wheel arches are mad on this car. Like, I'm talking about the wheel arch and the fenders. Everything on this vehicle is just obnoxious. You can see this line which runs here. I don't even know why it does that, because it doesn't care about aerodynamics. So I thought, why not? Meanwhile, the wheel size on this car is also smaller when compared to the AMG. Now this one actually runs a 275/50/20. Yeah, 20 incher seems small, right? Of course on a G-Wagon it does, because the AMG is just so much madder. And when you come to the side, you realize, where are the side exhausts? Well, they have also gone, because this one doesn't get the side exhausts which are there on the AMG model. However, what really stands out on this car is that all the retro charm is still present. For starters, of course, you got the spare wheel mounted at the rear, and this is a side opening tailgate. Of course, it says G350d right there. That is the indicator, and the brake lights are a little on the lower side. I don't know honestly how you'll be able to see it, but the car is so tall you would definitely be able to see it as well. And that's not all. Just look at the presence of this car. The wheel arches are maddening. Everything on this vehicle is just obnoxiously over the top engineered, in the sense that what was Mercedes thinking? And thankfully I can just stretch and show you right now the top of the vehicle as well. Now I don't really know what this is for, but hey, God knows what it is for. The rear wiper is actually hidden behind the spare wheel. And let's open the boot right away. Now the boot is decent size. It's not really big as such compared to the size of this car. The light placement inside is a 12-volt charging socket, just in case you want to charge something, maybe a fuel pump. And that's about it. Actually, the AMG needs a fuel pump, not this car. Meanwhile, you get a 60/40 split folding seat with ISOFIX child seat mounts, obviously without a doubt, and this parcel shelf is just lying like this. Okay, there's a hook here, and these are basically more practical bits. Probably IKEA has put it in this car, just kidding. Okay, you see the finishing here, also rad. You can actually shut the boot like this, and there it goes, and there it shuts. Thankfully nothing broke, because you have to put a lot of effort to open and close stuff inside the car. And there's the Mercedes logo, which is like $1 million. There is actually the towing hook of the car. Where is the exhaust, dear? I can't see you, so we're just going to try and find the exhaust. Can you see the exhaust? Yeah, there it is, the exhaust of the car. Of course it has to have an exhaust. Where else will it put out all the gases from this mammoth of a beast which weighs 2.5 tons. Now it has got 700 mm of water weighting capacity. Of course you can see the size of the car, the height of the car. The ground clearance is an obnoxious 241 mm. Yeah, that's again obnoxious, and since my shadow is coming in between, we're just going to walk behind and get inside the rear. Now you see, it doesn't get keyless entry, because you have to actually unlock the car with the key, which happens to be in my pocket. Regular Mercedes key. It's got stuck somewhere in the pocket. It's got this gloss finishing somehow. The one on the AMG is actually matte finish. Meanwhile, these are again retro, the way the doors open, and you have to put a lot of effort to open and close the doors. Now you see there is a hook here that has the G logo right there, and you see the hinges, well exposed hinges, a very typical G-Wagon affair. Heated seats at the rear. We wanted cool seats, probably that you can add as an option. Love the finishing. Burmester sound system, which is absolutely fantastic, and the door pockets are super duper massive too. Now space at the rear isn't that great for the price, of course. For the size also the space isn't that great, but it's spacious enough. You don't get inside a car. You don't get inside a G-Wagon. You walk into it, you climb into it. It is a task as such. Kneeroom and legroom is decent. Under thigh support is adequate. Headroom is good enough, I would say. There's actually plenty of headroom on offer. There's a light placement here. There's a handle along with a hook. I don't even know what this is. Same is the case on that side as well. 3 adjustable headrests. There's a center armrest which actually has a lens. Yeah, that's nice. You can keep your lenses here just in case you want to take photos. But jokes aside, these are obviously cup holders. Seats are actually very comfortable. I love the support on the seats. It's absolutely stunning support on the seat. Very comfy, but space could have been more for the price. AC vents at the rear. Obviously, it gets a 4-zone climate control air conditioning. Actually, it gets a 3-zone climate control air conditioning. Yeah, 2 buttons, 3 zones. AC vents are really very nicely done. You can turn them off as well. That's also nice. And I love the treatment on the car everywhere. It's super duper awesome. The dashboard looks like $1 million, of course, because the car also looks like $1 million from the outside. So obviously from the inside, it's even better. Trust me on this. It's like a coconut. It's hard on the outside, and on the inside, it is absolutely stunning. Seatbelt gets the height adjust function. Maybe they could have given a sunroof at the rear, but the velvet treatment on the top is nice, and they scooped this out for additional headroom as well. And obviously this is for accessories. You can get a screen if you so wish. Magazine holders, you name it, everything it has. In fact, it's got an ashtray, 12-volt charging socket, and a 5-volt. Yeah, that's a USB charging socket if I'm not mistaken. So that's also pretty practical. The floor is almost flat. 3 people can comfortably sit inside because the cabin is so freaking wide. Now, of course, a lot of equipment on our car happens to be optional, which means that the price can go northwards as and when you put more stuff. And I'm straightly going to walk to the front and tell you that this is a car you buy with your heart, not with your head. But the diesel is trying to appeal to your head as well. Now here it is showing on the instrument cluster what door is open. That's also pretty good. Seats are extremely comfortable, very supportive, and these are dynamic seats. So when you corner now, it actually holds you on the inside and kind of massages you. What a beauty, what an amazing feature. Okay, it says Mercedes-Benz right there. You can see that. Door pockets are massive at the front as well. Quality levels are fab. These are the controls for the power windows, and these are obviously for the adjustment of the outside rear view mirrors. And these are various buttons to unlock the car, lock the car, and of course, this is for the cooling function, which I'm going to turn off right now. This is for the heating function, and this is to adjust the seat. It gets memory functions. You can save up to 3 people settings. Now, all of this has been replicated on that side as well, which means the co-passenger also gets heated, cooling, and massage functions. Now, this side footstep is very important because you have to climb into the G. It's not a walk, it's a proper climb actually, and it takes some effort, honestly. When you close the door now, you realize you have closed something absolutely crazy. Listen to this, okay? My goodness. And when you lock the doors, listen to it, okay? Here, 3, 2. It's like a gunfire shot. It's like a freaking gunfire shot. It says G manufacturer, so we actually know who has made the car. Thank God for that. And of course, you've got 3 locking differentials. You've got rear locking, center locking, and front locking diffs as well. That's amazing. AC vents are really nicely done. A lot of control. These are obviously for the AC vents. These are again multiple buttons for various functions, and there's a clock in the center, twin cup holders right there, and obviously there is a 12-volt charging socket here as well, and this is the place to keep your key of the car. Yeah, there's a proper placement to keep the key of the car. That's the level of attention to detail Mercedes-Benz does. So here we're going to take the key, and there it slots in properly. That's amazing. In fact, it has a key logo there as well. And then just press it like this, push it actually, and there it closes. Gloss black finishing on the center. Below the front center armrest, there's storage space, and there's an SD card slot along with 2 USB slots as well. Now that is big enough. Now the glove box is actually lockable, and it has got a coin holder. You can see the coin holder. That's again amazing. And you know, there's space to keep your pen as well. Love the attention to detail. It's absolutely stunning. The dashboard is kind of on the flat side. Yeah, the dashboard is on the flat side. But who's complaining? I just threw my sunglasses. Okay. Everywhere you see, the quality of the speakers is just fantastic. These are obviously the controls for the lights, auto dimming inside rear view mirror. It's kind of frameless. And here you get a mirror along with 2 lights. There's the mic placement. There's the handle on the driver side as well. The driver also needs it. Everybody needs the handle to get inside. Again, twin lights, and obviously it gets a sunroof. The sunroof is on the smaller side. You press it once, it opens to a certain extent. You have to press it once again to open it completely, and there it opens completely. Only disappointment is that when you shut it, you have to manually put back the sun blind, which kind of feels awkward at this price point, but never mind. I should make that effort right away. Quality of the interior, the finishing, everything is fantastic. Obviously, this is a Mercedes-Benz car. That means it's got 64 freaking colors for the ambient lighting. I know every time I shout and everybody's like, why is he shouting? The steering wheel is a typical Mercedes affair. Love the control, love the quality of switches, just so amazing. These are obviously for the cruise control. These are for the audio system, as for voice commands, volume, pick up a phone, drop a phone, whatever. Not a drop a phone, but decline a phone call. Meanwhile, this is for this screen, this is for that screen. Again, 12.3-inch screens, very high resolution, but it doesn't get a touchscreen. It doesn't get MBUX because this is an older car, the G-Wagon. Technically speaking, it's a very old car, so you can actually browse through everything from here itself, from the steering wheel. You don't need to use any other button. Now this is the BlackBerry style touch, which is absolutely fantastic. Again, here you can browse through this. That's all you need. 3 displays also for the instrument cluster, and that's amazing as well. Now get into home, and there you can browse through all the information. There's every information available here on your fingertips, whether you want to use this screen or that screen. Very high resolution screens, gives you all the information you want. And there again you see the tweeter. There's a signature of the person who actually made the car probably, or signed it off. And this is the lane keep assist, this for parking sensors, and these are the controls for the headlights. It gets automatic headlights and automatic wipers too. Beautiful red stitching here. And of course, the best part is that the pedals also get this amazing treatment, and you've got a proper dead pedal too. Oh my god, this is the electric parking brake of the car, which is very low. And I love the way the doors have been done. They are fantastic, and the hinges are so amazing. Let me do this once again. Oh my goodness, when it shuts, and then, oh my lord, wow, what a sound. I never thought I would say that for locking and unlocking the car. A lot of buttons here. These are for the, obviously, the drive mode. This is for manual mode for the gearbox. This is for traction control, and this for volume control. This is to turn off the screen. This is for the parking camera. This is to get into low range. Yeah, this has got a low range gearbox. Obviously, it's a very capable car. It's got a rigid rear axle as well. So in terms of off-road ability, the G-Wagon is absolute kick-ass, although it is on the heavier side. Now it gets a command controller, which I personally love because it makes it super duper easy to operate it. The touchpad in your Mercedes cars, I do not like it, I'm being very honest. Engine start button, this is for stop-start system, and these are the controls for the indicators as well as the wipers, because this is obviously the gas selector. Let's use the wipers right away. Okay, there is good amount of spray on offer. Yeah, there's plenty of spray on offer. The windscreen is very upright. You need to get used to it because it's very different and unique as well. I love the quality of the screen. Now obviously right now we are in massage function. It's got massage again, which happens to be optional. Lot of massages here, and it works brilliantly well on this car, of course. So it's both for the driver as well as for the co-passenger. Side bolsters, you can decide, I mean, you can adjust the seat in a million of ways, which is also amazing. Now the screen has everything you would expect and all the tech you would expect in a car, because, you know, right from dynamic select, which is actually showing you engine data as well as vehicle data, how much power and torque you're consuming in real time. All that is also seen, but again, all this we already know about. In fact, I kid you not, when you change the cluster modes now, this also changes. Ironically, this also changes. It's a little slow at times, but it is lovely. Okay, we're going to put it in sport right now, and you see the color changes, of course. So attention to detail, absolutely crazy inside this car. Everything you would ask for is there. It has got Apple CarPlay, it's got Android Auto connectivity, it's got a beautiful 360-degree parking camera. Yeah, so right now we just come in the camera setting. Now I can change the camera. This is obviously the rear camera. The top view, which is the 360-degree view, which is being shown front, rear, side, whatever you name it, it's got it all, and it's just mind-blowing. Here I'm going to change the steering wheel angle, and you can see that happening right there. What an amazing camera. In fact, I'll just get into reverse, and there we are into reverse right away, and it's showing you that as well. Beautiful. I love it. The camera is super duper awesome. The quality of the interior, the cabin, the comfort, the luxury, the attention to detail, the tech, everything is amazing. Only thing is, doesn't get the MBUX system. And then if I have to crib, I would say, yeah, space at the rear could have been better for a car of this size. Headroom is in excess at the front. Under thigh support is never an issue in Mercedes cars. I'll tell you why in a bit. But you get paddle shifters, which are really rich quality ones. The steering wheel is electric, can be adjusted both for reach as well as rake, of course. So all the options on your fingertips to make it extremely comfortable. And of course, this handle is so freaking retro, looks awesome and amazing as well. But I will show you why you can actually increase the under thigh support. It's very easy to do it. Now with these controls, you can increase it. Now you see the under thigh support is not much. I press this button, and there you see the under thigh support increases. Now when I obviously increase under thigh support, I realize I'm hiding the fire extinguisher of the car. There's a fire extinguisher right below the driver's seat. Absolute insanity. But since I've already done a dedicated video of the G63, and not much is different between the G63 and the G350d, minor changes in terms of cosmetics, let's just understand if a diesel engine does justice to a car as obnoxious and as amazing as a G-Wagon. Alright, we're all set to go, which means turning off the air conditioning, getting into drive mode, getting into sport mode, and we're going to turn off traction control off, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, revs to almost 2,500 RPM. And and that's 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 7.4 seconds, which is actually decently quick for a car which weighs more than 2.5 tons. Actually, this one weighs 2.5 tons. This is the G350d. So what is different here compared to the G63? Of course, there's a lot different because this has 2 cylinders less. This is a straight 6 motor, and of course, because the 350, it is the same motor which does duty in the Mercedes S-Class, the S350. Now this one produces 286 horsepower. Meanwhile, the torque output is 600 Newton meters, which comes in at a low 1200 RPM and stays there till 3200 RPM. Now I have to admit that, oh my god, around the expansion joints it does move around quite a bit, but the dynamic seats makes you feel so amazing. Okay, we're going to stop right away because brakes are actually quite nice for a car this heavy. Getting into the classic display, again left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. No launch control, but revs above 2000 RPM, and it is giving me 580 Newton meters of torque, which is showing in the display, not really giving me 600 Newton meters of torque. Now performance is actually quite slick. Okay, it is very measured, very linear as such. It has a good amount of low end punch. The mid range is also decent, but in the top end it kind of struggles, and then you realize in the top end it needs extra oomph, extra push, because near the red line the motor obviously doesn't feel at its best because of the massive weight of this car. Still, I am saying weight. The thing is, the G63 can deal with the weight with utmost ease because the G350 has obviously lesser power and torque. How much lesser power and torque? The power is down by 250 horsepower, and the torque is actually, the power is down by 300 horsepower and the torque is down by 250 Newton meters, because obviously the G63 AMG produces a mammoth 585 horsepower and 850 Newton meters of torque. So this one feels a bit lacking in that regard, and that's the reason it's slower from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour by almost 3 seconds. That one taking, the G63 AMG taking just 4.5 seconds. Kind of gravity defying stunts performed by that car, honestly. So does this actually in terms of handling characteristics, because it's a box, and how can a box handle so well? I have no clue at all, because the handling of this car is absolutely stunning for a car of this size and weight. First and foremost, you're sitting on the 17th floor, and then you can see everything. The trucks actually feel small, and all those pseudo front wheel drive SUVs feel like ants. That is the ergonomic and commanding driving position. Now, how good the driving position might be, unfortunately though, the rear visibility isn't the best because of that spare wheel which can be seen in the rear windscreen. Now get into the throttle and it reacts very fast because the gearbox is super quick with shifts. It's a 9-speed unit. Yeah, it's a 9-speed torque converter unit, and around the corners you will really appreciate the steering wheel. But more than that, you are going to appreciate how the dynamic seats work. They hold you in the opposite direction. So I turned right, so from the left side they were actually holding me in place and gives me a sort of a massage as well. That is super duper awesome. The seats on this car are another level altogether. The motor is super refined, it's super smooth, and only feels stressed in the higher end of the rev range. But more than about feeling stressed, the best thing is that it never feels that it doesn't have the pace to pick up. Even out on the highway, if you want to make a quick overtake, get on the gas, the gearbox will immediately make a shift. So this is a very fast shifting gearbox, and obviously you've got steering mounted paddles as well, should you feel the need to take control of gears. Now, when you drive this car fast, you realize that high-speed stability isn't that great because the car moves around a bit. Actually, this is a body-on-frame platform, and that's why that associated lumpiness with body-on-frame platforms is absolutely apparent every time you go over a bad patch of road, and unfortunately our roads are really very bad. So this isn't a car which keeps you very comfortable. However, handling is good by the size, if you factor in the size of this car, because it is massive in terms of size. Well, that's what she said. Braking performance is nice, but somehow the front actually dives right down under heavy braking, and obviously, the tires offer ample amount of grip as well. That is a no-brainer. Alright, let's change the mode once again. This time we're going to put it into sport. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. Little wheel spin from this car, which is kind of surprising. Red line's at 4,500 RPM. And I am going to get into manual gearbox mode right now. So we are in manual right now, and obviously in manual gearbox it will obviously still not hold on to a gear, which is kind of surprising. Why? It should actually hold on to a gear, but it doesn't. It will still make an upshift once it hits the red line. So I don't understand what is this exact manual control of things. Yeah, it should give us complete manual control of things. It simply does not, but doesn't need to. You know why? Because you really don't care about performance as much as you care about making an impression. And another cool thing I like about this car is, of course, it's got these safety features which are amazing. Firstly, it has got active brake assist, which automatically applies the brakes when it senses something is in line, and it doesn't do it panically somehow. It does gradual braking as well. That's also something I have noticed. Now, once it picks up pace, now it keeps picking up pace very relentlessly. In fact, this one cruises to 160-170 kilometers per hour in no time at all. But the top speed is 199 kilometers per hour. Come on, Mercedes. You should have made this car faster by 1 kilometers per hour to hit the magic 200 kilometer per hour number. But numbers are just very academic, because the G63 AMG will go to 220 kilometers per hour, which is, again, not that impressive a high speed or a top speed for a car with a 4-liter bi-turbo V8. Here we go. It does push you back in the seat, although very minutely, doesn't really push you back too much. Of course, nothing like the G63 AMG, but the G63 AMG is a fuel guzzler. This is no less. This will return between 5 to 8 kilometers per liter. Thankfully, both these cars are having a massive 100 freaking liter fuel tank. Yeah, that's right, 100 liter fuel tank. That is amazing. You need a 100 liter fuel tank, otherwise you would just get out of your house and go to the fuel pump and come back, because these AMGs, the G-Wagon, because of its size, loves to guzzle fuel. And ironically, the diesel is lighter than the petrol. You know why? Because of course the petrol is a V8, this is a straight 6, and diesels are heavier, but still. That said, what I really like about G-Wagon is the road presence and the feel of driving one. You get the raw feel. In spite of Mercedes making it a lot modern now, it still gives you the raw feel of driving something which is extremely special, extremely obnoxious, and extremely out of your league, because it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Why would you buy this G350d for a price of 1.91 crore rupees when you can get the fantastic GLS for 60 lakhs or more lesser? Actually 71 lakhs lesser. 1.2 crores is the on-road price of the GLS 400d, which has a more powerful version of this diesel engine, right? However, the GLS also has character. This one has a lot more character. This is just oozing with character and personality. This is the car you take to a gunfight, because when you arrive, everybody runs away. Speed breakers, no problem. It is so comfortable. It's actually obnoxiously easy to drive in spite of its size, because the steering is so well calibrated that at lower speeds now it's so easy to take a U-turn, and the steering, like in typical Mercedes fashion, always does a great job in terms of the way it weighs up, because it weighs up beautifully well. Only thing is the turning radius is nothing short of obnoxious here as well. Get into the throttle, immediately the car makes a move on, so it never struggles in that sense. This car feels very comfortable at 160-170 kilometers per hour. There is no letdown on power. But post that obviously starts to struggle, because obviously it cannot cheat aerodynamics. A box is going against air and wind. How do you expect it to cut through it? But it doesn't cut through it, it smashes through it, because in spite of the lack of aerodynamics on this car and the boxy shape as well, it simply manages to just remain glued to the road and handles pretty well for a car of this size. Now, compared to the last generation of the G-Wagon, okay, there are only 2 generations I believe, you see this red triangle. Well, of course, that is the blind spot assist, which tells you if someone is in a blind spot, of course. And then there's a lot of interesting safety tech in this car, which is very useful. What I mostly like is that how Mercedes has managed to make this car like a coconut. Hard from the outside, but absolutely smooth and luxurious and soft from the inside. It blends the best of both worlds of luxury, comfort, off-road ability. And talking about off-road ability, this is a very capable car off the road. Take it off-road, it will annihilate almost everything. Only thing is, you wouldn't want to take a 2 crore Mercedes off-road, because if something goes wrong, you'll be like, oh, what did I just do? So guys, as you can see, this Mercedes G-Wagon is absolutely stellar in a lot of ways. The performance, everything just deserves a massive applause. But there is a small problem. The problem happens to be that if you're paying 2 crore rupees, you want to go the full hog. Why would you want to get a diesel G-Wagon when you can get the petrol sipping, absolutely mad wrenching, crunching and flying beast, the G63 AMG, which is madness to an entirely different level. The sound from that car is just something else. Okay, this one sounds decently well for a diesel, but that petrol is so freaking loud and characteristic thanks to the side exhaust and of course the AMG kit, bigger wheels and whatnot, that buying a G350d is like almost reaching there, yet not arriving there at all. But then for the practical people out there, this car makes a lot of sense because the G63 obviously drinks a lot of fuel, and this is a car you would like to actually drive it sedately, not push it hard around corners or push it hard in a straight line as well. Yeah, it has the oomph, it has the punch, it has the ability, but doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use it all the time, because when you do, you know you have to visit a fuel tank really very soon. Now the active brake assist on this car can be configured in early, medium and late, and I forgot to tell you guys that the Burmester sound system on this car is absolutely staggeringly awesome. The sound system is unbelievably good. It is so good, it's so good, I can't put it into words. In fact, right now we are going to play an audio right away. That's kind of weird and awkward of me playing an audio right now between the driving vlog. So here we go, listen to this. And I put navigation by mistake. Yeah, audio quality seems to be pretty good on this car. Now there are multiple drive modes. There are actually 4 drive modes on offer here, and they change 4 things, which happens to be the engine, the gearbox, the suspension and steering wheel, along with the stop start system as well. So we are right now in sport mode, but we're going to get into comfort mode. Eco, comfort, sport and individual are the modes. In individual you can decide how you want the various parameters to be. See, I was talking about this active brake assist. There obviously it actually signals that there's something ahead and it applies brakes on its own. It shows you a triangle there too. Now this is a very expensive car, but a car you would never mind putting all the optional bits, because that's what really makes it special. That's the reason it's written G manufacturer. Well, that is because you can customize it as you like it, how you like it. And I would honestly opt for the G63 AMG, which costs rupees 2.74 crores. I know that's expensive, you're paying a lot more over the G350d, but if you're paying 2 crores almost, you can pay 3 crores too, or 75 lakhs more. Actually, it is 84 lakhs more, because you get a lot more speed, a lot more character, and the true essence of a Mercedes G-Class, the G-Wagon, the G63 AMG. That would be my pick. But the diesel is also very impressive. Honestly, it's so difficult to choose between either of these G-Wagons. It all depends. If you're a diesel head like me, you would love this one. But me being a diesel head still wants to go for the G63 AMG. That is the level of performance and madness. And then people will be like, how does this car compare to cars like the Urus and the Bentayga? Like really, the character of this car is unmatched and unbelievable. And that's the reason that if you're looking to stand out of the crowd and want something special, something which doesn't make any sense whatsoever, yet makes a lot of sense as well, then the G-Wagon is the car for you. Motor is very fast. It's got adaptive dampers. Now what do adaptive dampers do? Well, obviously they change the way the springs operate, the softness or the stiffness according to whichever mode you are in. In comfort mode it feels more compliant. In sport mode you can feel the stiffness, but still it's not really compliant as far as ride quality goes, because this continuous movement which is happening almost every given moment because of the body on frame platform. So the ride actually settles once you're at a higher speed, but at low speed over bad roads the ride can get very unsettled. Now you come to this bad patch of road and you can see the car crashes through it. That is the level of ride quality, in spite of the fact that this has got a decent profile tire also, or rather the tires are decent profile here. However, the G63 AMG is even worse in terms of ride quality, but you won't complain about it much because you're gone so fast over bumps that you don't even realize what just happened. And that brings me to the price of the G63 AMG, which happens to be 2.74 crores. The price of this car, 1.91 crores. You end up paying almost 80-85 lakhs more for the G63 AMG, which I honestly think is completely worth it, because if you're getting a G-Wagon, get the maddest version of them all. Oh, that happens to be the 6x6. Meanwhile, the G63 isn't really the maddest version of the G-Wagon, because there's a G500 Square and there are a lot of iterations of the G-Class. The G350d comes across as a tamed beast, which still has a lot of presence on the road. Maybe they should get a G400d, because I always crave for more power, because power is all you need in a G-Wagon, because it looks fast. No, it doesn't, but it looks intimidating. The 63 AMG, of course, it looks fast and is fast as well, and that is the reason I would pick it over an Urus or even a Bentayga for that matter. Heck, even over a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, because a G-Wagon is a G-Wagon. And on that bombshell, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this vlog, make sure to give the thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye.